This is a game to look forward to as well. Bradford against the Leeds Rhinos. The Bulls line up with Halley at fullback, Sharif, Platt, Nero and Reardon, Sykes and Lestrange. No Carney, no Orford. Forwards, Scruton, Godwin, Lynch, the skipper, Whitehead, Donaldson, very young second row. There's no Jamie Langley either, and Menzies is the loose forward. And the bench, Hall, Warrancy, Kopjak and Addy, and the coach Steve McNamara. Well, Leeds have had their disruptions as well. Of course, Brent Webb out suspended. Lee Smith is the replacement fullback. Donald returns, though. That's a big bonus for them. Delaney, Senior and Hall. Sinfield is at standoff alongside Danny Maguire at scrum half. There's no Rob Burrow, of course. He's out injured. And the forwards have been hit as well. There's no Jamie Peacock. There's no Ali Lau-Titi. So it's Luluai, Badiris and Bailey, Kirk and Ablett in the second row, and Jamie Jones-Buchanan is the loose forward. And on the bench for Leeds, it's Diskin, Eastwood, who's tasting this derby for the first time, Burgess and Pitts, and the coach is Brian McLennan. A glorious day, and two glorious teams. Bradford with Leeds, the only clubs from the east of the Pennines to have won a Super League title. And Bradford, the only side to win a grand final from outside the top two. They won it from third in 2005. The Leeds Rhinos, who are the champions, believe that they actually could win it this year from as low as fourth. They believe that the top of the table and the league leaders' shield is beyond them now, but they think they can go on and lift the trophy at Old Trafford, coming from fourth. Well, Bradford just one defeat in their last 9 matches. Leeds have lost just 1 in 8. So we're going to watch here two sides who are bang in form. And it really is the first time in Steve McNamara's 4-year reign that they have probably had a match against Leeds more of significance in terms of the ultimate destination of the title this year than just about the local bragging rights. They climbed into the top 4 with their win at Wakefield, 29-10. They trailed 10-4 at half-time, and they have to get 2 halves of rugby league right here, according to their coach. Now then, the mascots for this evening's affair with Andy Lynch. The captain are Andy Lynch's 2 children. Tristan and Kai are out there with their dad, and the bullman, of course. And it's a big day for them. It's a big day for Bradford. It's a big day for Leeds. And it's a glorious day for the rest of us. Steve-O, you're sweating up.
Yeah, and I think that some of the players will do it tough, especially in the opening 20 minutes, but it's going to be pretty tough up in the forwards. Both coaches, McNamara, McLennan, fully realise they've got to get that impetus moving. You've got to make sure you get over the advantage line. The forwards should lay that platform. But can Bradford, can they survive without 2 half-backs, Carney and Orford? We'll have to wait and see.
Steve Menzies has the ball from the kickoff, 36 years of age. The heat just might take its toll on him during the course of this evening. Ricky Sharif is the dummy half.
We talk about the heat. The biggest disadvantage with the heat is having to play in a head guard, and Steve Menzies is attempting to do that. Don't be surprised if, as the match wears on, that starts to disappear.
This is the 3rd tackle of the match for the Bradford Bulls. The scrum cap is still on for Menzies so far. There is actually a cooling breeze, mind you. That might be up here where we are in the gantry. It might be a little bit warm at pitch side. Final score at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium. Warrington have beaten Huddersfield 36-20. So they go second in the table, Warrington, and Huddersfield on the slide. It's a big invitation for Leeds now to win this match here and claim their place in the top 4. A mistake, though, by Lee Smith, but not under any great pressure. But now he is, because the chase has arrived. Oh, he's suddenly seen a hole. Menzies soon filled it.
Well, it was a real error. He just didn't get himself positioned all that too well. But I must say, it wasn't the best chase by the Bradford players. And I've just been watching there. Andy Lynch, the Bradford skipper, again, he has that left knee heavily bandaged, and it doesn't look as though he's running all that sharply.
This is Jamie Jones-Buchanan now for the Leeds Rhinos. There's Andy Lynch, the skipper. Yes, he's got a big bandage on that left thigh, hasn't he? He has really been a man who's led from the front for Bradford this season.
Well, that gives you some idea of how strong that wind is, Eddie, because that just held up there, and that should be an advantage for the Bulls. Got to try to utilise the 40-20.
Yes, there is a stiff breeze blowing, obviously at pitch level as well, and it's blowing at the backs of the Bradford Bulls in this first half, who are in possession here right now. Good harassing defence, though, from the Leeds Rhinos. And too good. They held on to Andy Lynch far too long, says the referee, Richard Silverwood.
Well, he had it spot on as well. He was screaming at both the Leeds players, just release him, failed to do that. Golden opportunity now by the Bulls of late. They have not started all that well, Bradford. The coach, Steve McNamara, and Brian McLennan knows it's going to be pretty tough out there, but McNamara realises that they've got to put down a marker early in this match.
O'Brien's got the factor 30 on the ball pate. He's right in the sunshine on the far side of the ground. This is Heath Lestrange.
He needs it. I've got mine on and I'm undercover.
Now then, this is a good run from young James Donaldson.
Quick play of the ball, that's what they needed. Not too bad.
They got it with Godwin. He finds Lestrange. That's Ian Kirk who got to him with Kylie Luluwai. Down he goes on tackle number 4. They're 8 metres away from the line of Bradford. Godwin to Scruton, and here now is Sykes. Flung the pass wide, and it finds its way to Stuart Reardon. Leeds having a bit of a job to deal with Reardon. Eventually they get him down on the last tackle. There's Steve McNamara in the shade. And Godwin and Sykes dribbles the kick into the in-goal area. Oh, that's a try! That will be a try for Elliot Whitehead.
I'm with you, Eddie. I think he knows he's got it down as well.
The Leeds defender just, well, he thought that was going to go over the dead ball line, but he must have forgotten that the corners here at Odsal are raised.
Yep, it would have slowed the ball down. It was a beautiful chip, isn't it? Oh, that was an excellent kick. Paul Sykes taking full advantage. And what on earth was Lee Smith thinking about? Has he got to it before it's grounded? I think he has. I think this will be given. It moves away to start with, but I think it gets down, and that, to me, will indicate that Elliot Whitehead will be given the nod by the French referee Thierry Alibert, who's the video ref tonight.
Here comes the decision. The try is given, and Bradford off to a flyer, courtesy of Elliot Whitehead. Well, if you remember, on a day similar to this, when we were in Perpignan with the Leeds Rhinos not too long ago over the bank holiday, Kevin Sinfield delayed and delayed and delayed in the in-goal area, and he was caught out. Well, they've been caught out again by that. Elliot Whitehead reacting very quickly. That's a terrific try.
You just do not try to motion it across. Well, that is a very, very poor piece of play by Lee Smith. He's got plenty of experience, and he knows that he should have felt that if he'd come in, you should have got that ball away. You do not take the gamble. Whitehead, he'll be smiling. Good kick, tremendous chase by the second rower.
Mentioned on Boots and All on Wednesday as a possible England contender, Elliot Whitehead, one of the finds of the season. Former Bradford Bulls fan all of his life, loving every minute of this 2010 campaign. Sykes to try and add the extras. He doesn't, he pushes the wrong side of the posts. But Bradford lead by 4 points to 0.
Well, I'm not so sure that Brian McLennan will be pleased with this. He had plenty of time to get the arm to it, and the long stretching arm from Whitehead got there first.
What that'll do, Steve-o, that's going to give Paul Sykes an awful lot of confidence. Bradford are playing with manufactured halves here. Missing Orford, missing Carney. So they've put in a hooker and they put in a centre to play in the halves. And they brought a bench player in Wayne Godwin as a starting player. That's a lot of disruption. That kick from Paul Sykes is as good as you're going to see from a halfback.
Well, he probably caught a glimpse of Kevin Sinfield. He was talking to his teammates and giving them a bit of a rollicking.
It was just lack of concentration, Eddie, from Lee Smith, and he knows it.
Well, the call should have come, I suppose, Kevin Sinfield's saying. The call should come.
Should have got his hand to it. Simple as that. Safety first. Not to be.
It's an advantage that Bradford have already. By Paul Sykes being a left-footed kicker of the ball, they've got two options, and they go again to Sykes, who hits it very smoothly as well, doesn't he? Not many teams have a player who can kick with his left foot, and another on the right-hand side of the field who naturally kicks accurately with the right foot. So that's a balance that they've got at the moment, and an advantage one.
Tremendous chase to that kick by Sykes, by Godwin. He absolutely buried the Leeds fullback.
He's in top
now
form.
Is Delaney. They're up for this, Bradford.
Certainly are. Remember, it was a slow start against Wakefield. They certainly turned it on after the interval.
Got to play for 80 minutes, says Steve McNamara.
Ryan.
Yeah, and I'm under the impression, you know, that Wayne Godwin would love to play for the full 80 minutes as well.
Ryan Bailey has got some blood. He has, coming from an eye wound.
Brian Carney made the point in regards to the two half-backs that are on display from Bradford. Of course, Carney and Orford out, Sykes and Lestrange. It worked pretty well, especially in that second half against Wakefield. So it was pretty confident with Steve McNamara that can reproduce that form.
Well, they produced one of the games of the season at Headingley for us, didn't they, these two? 16-0 up, Bradford were, inside 25 minutes. The Leeds fought back, 20 points all. The only draw in Super League this year. And that kick was far too deep. Here comes Michael Platt, who believes he's winning over the Bradford Bulls fans, having made the move into the centres. That's an awful play of the ball. Jamie Jones-Buchanan was in the middle of it all, and Michael Platt could have been accused actually of moving off the mark, but referee allowing it to go on. And here is Nick Scruton, former Leeds Rhino, of course. Nick Scruton, he came here because he wanted more game time. This is his 45th consecutive appearance. Desperate for a big win today against his former club.
Pretty basic football by the Bulls, but they're in charge. They know they got the 4 points on the board. Forwards are getting him over that advantage.
Strong
good
run
position.
What an offload to Wayne Godwin. Kirk got to Godwin, pulled him down on the last. That was Heath Lestrange. This is Sykes, and this time the little kick through is dealt with. Well, I thought that was not allowed. I thought once the tackle was completed, you couldn't roll over on the ground.
See the timing here between Sykes joining this tackle at the end.
Oh, he's held up, to be fair, yes. Good decision from Richard Silverwood.
This is a great ball. Look at this.
Well, he's got the quality as Lestrange, hasn't he? But there's the incident. No doubt in my mind. He got it right. That's more pressure. Well, Steve McNamara will be happy with this, especially with the way that the forwards have hit it out early in the match. The first 8 minutes, they are in total control of the Bulls.
Ricky Sharif collects the goal line dropout on halfway. Oh, and he's lost it in a big collision with Kylie Luluai. That's an error from Sharif. And that's a penalty given by Sharif for stealing and stripping the ball after the tackle was completed. Well, 30 seconds of madness from Ricky Sharif.
Frustration. He knows he's lost it, and a great tackle from Kylie Luluai. Gets his hands involved and stripping it from Ryan Bailey.
And again, though, we do see players making first contact with a ball-carrying arm. It amazes me.
Well, some you can do it against. I would suggest that Kylie Luluai is not one of those guys you want to run into ball first.
Here's Ian Kirk. Badiris to the dummy half. Jamie Jones-Buchanan. All picked up. Ball came free, and that's Chris Nero who reacted easy the first. Leeds just not quite at the races yet. This is Reardon, and now they're offside, the Leeds Rhinos. Offside to the play the ball.
Well, there were plenty of thousand fans aiding and abetting that Richard Silverwood should blow the whistle, and he had them right. There was about 5 or 6 of the Rhinos players. Never made any attempt to get back to 10. They're really on the boil, though, at the Bradford Bulls, but they are being helped immensely by some very nervous play by the Leeds Rhinos.
You know, you have to make hay while the sun's shining, and the Bulls are fully aware here with a good start to this game, good possession in the right part of the field, and confidence so high amongst so many of the players. Again, they need to put some pressure and put points possibly on the board here.
Lynch will drive it in for the Bradford Bulls. Must say, looking round at Odsal today, it's really good. It's like going back to the good old days. It's sun streaming down at Odsal. The place is packed. The Leeds Rhinos are in town. Tremendous atmosphere. It's been a little bit flat lately when we've come to Odsal, but they're bang on form, the Bulls. Nero's nearly there. Plays the ball back to Sykes. He gives it to Lestrange, who finds Halley, who in turn finds Michael Platt. And Michael Platt gets the ball away. It was just fumbled there by James Donaldson, but Halley was able to continue it on. Gets the ball away to Elliot Whitehead, the try scorer. And he is dumped to the ground by 3. That's the last tackle, says Richard Silverwood, and it's a knock-on anyway.
Yeah, good tackle there by Sinfield, and what a time to come up with it as well. Because they have been really and truthfully put under the caution. We talk about the standoff Paul Sykes. Every time he gets switched from the centres into that position. This is the incident where he's completely lost the ball there. But he's the key man, and Leeds have to keep an eye on this fella, not only with just the short kicks, but that was a super delayed pass that nearly got Chris Nero over the line.
Hull have stretched the lead at Castleford. The Leeds Rhinos doing it tough here today, doing it tough on the road as well. Just 2 wins from 6 away games. And how about this? None in England. They haven't won an away game in England yet. They've beaten the Crusaders in Wales. They have beaten the Catalan Dragons in Perpignan, but they've not won on English soil, the English champions.
What they'll need to start doing is getting through their sets. They've spent too long now without the ball and near their own line. It's very, very difficult, and it's energy sapping. Want to get through this set, kick it long, chase hard, and try and keep Bradford and restrict them in their half.
Struggling to get out of their own half of the field at the moment, and that's great tackling again from Nero on Delaney, who was asking for a penalty.
And it should have been a penalty. It was a second attempt, and oh, that's a shocker.
Well, they're in trouble, Leeds, because here come the Bulls, led by Godwin. And Sinfield, he had an air shot, didn't he, as he tried to get the kick away. That's another good, solid run from the forwards. Nick Scruton. Godwin gets the ball away. Here's the try scorer once again. Whitehead looking for a second. Held up on tackle number 4. Godwin just weighing up the options both ways. Gives it to Sykes. And the pass. Oh, there's 2 men flat out. The pass evaded everybody. There was a real bodily collision in back play.
Great work though by Ryan Hall. He was taking no notice. Okay, they may be injured, but that's fine.
Oh, I'm not so sure. He put the brakes on, didn't he?
Yeah, but it was a long way away. I don't think he went right across the line. Either way, you know, Brian McLennan's got to get the message out to Leeds. Say, hey, hang on. This is where we just roll the sleeves up and get through some hard work in the forwards. They're trying to be too fancy. Now the referee's halted it, because they can see that there are 2 players down in back play.
Sykes is one of them.
Kylie Luluai, I think, is the other.
Kylie Luluai, is it the other one? 2 big lads. And they collided and went down like a sack of potatoes.
Well, it wasn't the best pass.
Oh, it's heads again.
Yeah.
James Donaldson is also fortunate that he wasn't more seriously injured when Ian Kirk actually tackled him just as the ball had gone past.
Well, this is the time, as I mentioned, Brian McLennan, this to just say we get back to basics. The big guys take it up. This is the incident from a different angle. Here's the impact. Oh.
You want to take it back. All this pressure that Leeds are under now. On the last tackle, Jamie Jones-Buchanan, not a man that would regularly be in it to pass a dummy half, fired the ball to Kevin Sinfield. Too high and too much over his shoulder. He had to take it and adjust. It gave all the Bradford defenders enough time to force Kevin Sinfield into that air shot. It's the little things in a game sometimes.
It's called panic.
And Kylie Luluai is in a bit of a mess at the moment. They brought the oxygen out. It was a massive clash of heads.
Well, he went in with the shoulder and made contact just at the moment that Paul Sykes was releasing the ball. And then the clash of heads.
He is one player they won't want to lose. Jamie Peacock's missing from this game. Kylie Luluai was outstanding against Warrington last week in Leeds' victory. They'll need him on the field.
Looks as though he's probably having an argument with the physio and doctor here, saying, look, I'm all right. He was proving that by moving his arms. That'll hopefully make his family more satisfied. Look, he seems to have full movement. Potentially concussion was what happened, wasn't it, with the clash of heads?
Yeah, and if that's it, I dare say he'll stay on this field. You're right, Phil. They're checking him now. Wiggle your toes. All these little tests that the doctors do. But he's a tough man.
Yeah.
He is. Kylie Luluai, but is he going to be led from the field? I think Luke Burgess is coming on to replace him, so Luluai will take a breather.
That's wise as well, Brian McLennan. And not only that, he realises, look at the size of Luke Burgess. And that's what they've been missing, someone to steady the play down. Far too fancy from the Rhinos so far.
Luke is the brother of the former Bradford Bulls, Sam Burgess, of course. Sam, who is pulling up the trees in Australia in the NRL, and Luke rumoured to be looking maybe to join him in the NRL sooner rather than later.
No obstruction.
Here's the last tackle for Leeds. Maguire, Sinfield, they're running it, that's forward a mile. They're letting play go on. And here is Maguire. They're going to get a try, Leeds, that should never have been allowed. 2 forward passes. Certainly the first was forward a yard. At least that's the way it looked from up here. But Maguire's gone over, he's in double figures for the season now. A try last week when he played for the first time in 2010 at scrum half, and he's picked up a second try inside a week. And listen to the Bradford Bulls supporters, they're not happy with this.
You'll see it on the wide shot. They go for broke, they go for the power play. And that is going forward half a metre at least anyway. He was being impeded, they were held back. It would have been interesting if someone had got to Maguire. They didn't. Well, therefore, there's no cause for it. But Richard Silverwood, the official, and the touch judges said that this was okay. Delaney sets him. Donald back on the inside, Maguire. And how many times has this guy salvaged something for the Rhinos when they're in a deep hole?
Danny Maguire, the try scorer. I don't think the second pass into him was actually forward, because we're going to use that awful word, the momentum rule, for the first one, but the first one from Sinfield, Phil, looked very much forward.
Well, I don't know if the passes were forward, but I do know that you need to be a very skillful side to be able to score a try like that. We see lots of teams kick on the last player to attempt to score, but Leeds back the work they do week in, week out, at passing accurately at pace, and it paid off there. The referee gave them perhaps the benefit of the call according to the local supporters, but a very skillful try.
Sinfield then, can he add the extras? No, he can't, but the scores are level at 4 apiece. Just a hint then of a question mark against the try, but it's been given. Here it comes.
Now, that looks as though it's floating forward. And the momentum can't be brought into it because, in my opinion, the loose forward...
Momentum counts there.
Yeah, but Kevin Sinfield was stopped. So therefore, there was no momentum.
What a great time for them to score. They've just lost one of their props. They've been under the hammer. It's a fantastic, and like you say about Danny Maguire, he puts himself in those positions all the time. His energy is fantastic.
Leeds back in it. They beat Warrington last week 26-16. Warrington had won 4 in a row prior to that, but they lost Jamie Peacock after 7 minutes. And Jamie Peacock looks like he's being counted out of the England international on June the 12th as well. Oh, there's a mistake. Kirk went without the ball, and Bradford have it back.
Well, the difference we've seen in this game is that Leeds, playing predominantly in their own half, are good enough and fast enough to score long-range tries. I don't think that's going to be the case as much with Bradford. They will need to be closer to the try line when they want to post points. But you've seen the quality of the Rhinos and why they've lifted the big prize the last 3 years.
Oh,
they can
Scruton's
score from long range.
They can. They've lost it here, and no advantage, so the referee will put the scrum down.
He'll be furious with the prop forward, Nick Scruton. And one guy on there that will be pleased is one Ian Kirk, because it was a very simple pass. He should have taken it in. I think we've perhaps got to take into account it's very, very hot out there, so you know the ball will be somewhat slippy.
Let's get down to Bill.
Kylie Luluai just hung around long enough to see Danny Maguire go in for that try, and then he was taken to the Leeds Rhinos dressing room. It looks as though he's got a lovely shiner coming up on his left eye. If that's all he's got to contend with, then he's not done too badly, but he did look groggy, and the Bulls, Leeds, will be hoping they can get him back out there, because it's an energy-sapping evening, late afternoon. And you mentioned the breeze earlier on, Eddie. Well, right down on pitch level, you can hardly feel that, and the players are going to notice this. So if Leeds can't get Luluai back on, that puts them at a disadvantage.
The flags on top of the stand blowing and billowing, but down at ground level, as Bill's just said, there's not much breathing space, not much breath at all. I think the temperature on the pitch at Wembley yesterday for the football final was about 116 degrees. It's not quite that warm here.
Touched by a Bradford player, back to the first tackle, another set of 6. Now they can apply the pressure.
This is Jamie Jones-Buchanan, was fed by Maguire, who's just had a word in the ear of Luke Burgess. Vidiris is waiting at dummy half. Jamie Jones-Buchanan was injured in that incident. Here's Burgess now. He's lost it.
Well, we said the ball could be slipping mainly because of the sweaty palms out there. But I think there was a little bit of a finger.
His hands all over the place.
Yeah, they were into the ball. And the players, they realise as well, it's going to be difficult.
Tight in, lads.
18 minutes gone then, 4-all. Tight as a drum at Odsall on this glorious early evening.
Out.
We can call it evening now, can't we? 10 past 5.
It will be somewhere in the world.
Move. Hold. Go.
Isn't it great to get superb weather? And the fans, fair credit to them. They've come out in their thousands, and why not? It's always going to be an intriguing game.
Here for Bradford.
I think Richard Silverwood has to bring the two captains together. We know it's very hot out there. It's energy sapping, but it's now becoming irritating for the players and the fans.
Rhinos trying to recover from the poor start they had to the season. 5 defeats in the first 8 rounds. Uncharacteristic of them. But it depends on results elsewhere, of course. And I think I saw earlier on that Hull are OK against Castleford. Huddersfield have lost at Warrington, as we know. They might not make it to the top 4 with a victory here, but they're inside the top 8. There you are, Hull on the way to victory, I think, against Castleford. Lestrange pops it back to Scruton. Halted by 3 on tackle number 3. Godwin, Lynch, Halley, Sykes. Sliding defence from Leeds doing a job there. Here comes Andy Lynch again. Straight at Sinfield, gets the ball away to Halley. Halley is grounded by Sinfield and Bailey on the last.
Sykes the key man again.
Kicks crossfield, it's going to arrive at Michael Platt's hands, it does, and he gets away from trouble. Oh, wonderful! Michael Platt, terrific try for the Bradford Bulls. No, he's not given it. He's looked at the touch judge over on the far side, and he stood on the corner post, which seems to think, the touch judge, that there might be something wrong with this, and it's offside on this kick. Well, he's way
they
behind.
look all right. They look okay, but we thought that last night, should we say on Friday night, and that's okay. Well, we said he was going to be a key factor, Paul Sykes, and this had turned out to be a belter. But it's a good individual effort there by Michael Platt.
Well, they look okay. Michael Platt, he's right at the bottom of your screen, Michael Platt.
Yeah, it's fine. They're all fine. Takes the ball. They had the numbers. Should have got to him. No doubt about the putting the ball down, and Michael Platt, who slowly but surely is becoming a hero here.
Well, that will do him no harm at all. He missed 6 at the start of the season with a knee injury. He switched impressively from full-back to the centres this year. And I think he's reinvented himself as far as the Bradford supporters are concerned. He was talking about that on the websites this week. Michael Platt edges the Bulls ahead.
Beautiful kick. And look how it just twists and turns. A nice little step as well. That was real talent. Boy, did they need that.
Well, Paul Sykes is bang in front of the sticks here. It should be 10-4 in a moment. And it is. Doesn't miss those. Bradford 10, Leeds 4.
If you've got the numbers there, you've got to make sure you put them down. And Maguire had him and then released him. And some neat footwork has made Mr. Platt a hero.
You'd like to have seen Danny Maguire get a bit of help here. Last tackle, ball's gone up. Although Platt swung out of the tackle, there was a couple of Leeds players stood off and waited for Danny Maguire to finish it on his own.
Sinfield's kick to Heath Lestrange, and he pops the ball up. And Scruton goes down on the first tackle. Lestrange again, and Lynch. Andy Lynch also being tipped as a possible England international again. He's won 5 caps. He's had a great season here at Bradford for the New England coach. Steve McNamara, of course, who will leave Odsal at the end of the season. Here's a penalty because Luke Burgess was singled out by the referee.
Great play. Wayne Godwin knew exactly what he was doing here. Boom. Come and get me. And he did.
You know what was interesting? James Donaldson's strength in that tackle, Eddie. There were 3 Leeds defenders committed to it. None of them really put him on the floor. He got a quick play of the ball, and Godwin sensed it and used the vision there to help his side now get back into a great attacking position.
Well, here comes the heavy brigade. And I must say, the Rhinos, oh, that's got to be obstruction. Surely he used the man running through.
What about his footwork? Great foot. He's got to get penalised here, Eddie, and it's going against him. But I love his footwork. I said about the last time we saw him play. Donaldson, look how easy he makes this here, because he can change direction quickly.
Don't be sweating. I know, don't be sweating.
Well,
Just runs off. The referee said he was tackled, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, it's a shame, but I think the official got it wrong in the first place. There was a dummy runner coming through that went right across the line. Either way, Leeds can feel fortunate. Can they dig deep and get back down to some basics? Because it's shown very little so far.
Can they finish this set, Steve-O? They need to do that. They need to do that. They really need to finish this set, get to a kick.
Wakefield have put the cleaners through Harlequins, 54-12. Here's Maguire. That's a return to form for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, who were struggling a bit. Here, Leeds in possession with Badiris. Maguire. Badiris again. It's Sinfield threatening the line again, this time with a kick, looking for Scott Donald out wide. The ball bounces kindly and Nero tidies up for the Bradford Bulls.
That's okay, Eddie. That's okay to turn the ball over and hand the ball over in that bottom corner of the field. Now you just got to keep him down there.
You sound like a Leeds fan, Brian.
I'm just trying to picture a way for Leeds to get back into this game. They've been on in their own half. At least they're killing themselves with this.
Well, it's about time too. The man with the whistle will bring the skipper, Mr. Sinfield, over and say, I've had enough.
Yeah, I'm trying to look, like I say, I'm trying to look for a way for Leeds to get back into this game. And they're hammering themselves up penalties. Every time they get up there and get a chance, they're coming back down.
As soon as I call Eld, you're taking them to ground and you want time on the floor. You can't do that. Either take them to ground straight away or let them go.
That's fine if you call it out. You said up to the point you're about to call.
Yeah, I'm calling out. Yeah, I'm calling out. Yeah. Sort the problem out, please, Kevin.
Well, it was a nice discussion, wasn't it? And the official, Richard Silverwood.
All very well mannered, I thought.
Of course. He looks concerned, Brian McLennan, and he has every right to feel that way. And Brian Carney suggesting, how can Rhinos get into it? Well, I think a little bit more hard work from the boys in blue and gold might help them.
Maybe a little smarter, Steve-O. Maybe smarter more than hard.
Here's Lynch again for Bradford, the skipper up the middle. Glenn Hall has come on for Nick Scruton, by the way, as this attack from Bradford builds. There's Godwin. And there is Hall, his first touch, aiming towards the post at the end where he scored that last-minute try that won the game against Wigan.
Now, the Bulls haven't utilised the sun yet. They're going to do it into this corner. No, they're going for broke.
Menzies, great ball. Oh! Reardon has dropped the ball and has dropped a clanger.
I cannot believe that. A young kid that you bring out of amateurs, perhaps, but not the experienced Stuart Reardon. And there was a huge gasp around this huge stadium there. It was a giver.
And a big groan in this commentary box. Phil Clark thought that was a try, begging for Stuart Reardon.
And do you know, I haven't recovered from that yet, and that's the other thing. Andy Lynch just had a problem. I haven't recovered, though. The shock. Players have to recover far quicker, and there's the tackler here just holding down and messing around for too long. Steve Menzies is about as disappointed as I am there. Can't believe that. If they're to win, they can't bomb another chance. You don't get this many opportunities to beat Leeds.
Well, it looks like we've got a Leeds Rhinos fan in the shape of Brian Carney and a Bradford Bulls fan in the shape of Phil Clark.
I've got to get out of here alive.
Any preferences with New South Wales and Queensland, fellas? Because you'll be in the studio on Wednesday.
I'll let Brian go first. He can take first pick.
New South Wales. 3-0. Burgess has just come off. That's another blow for Leeds.
This is Sinfield. Oh, it's a great pass to Eastwood. And he's standing in the tackle, and the cavalry arrives in the shape of Sinfield. The skipper's doing his bit for the Rhinos.
Should have been someone there earlier, though. Eastwood wanted to get rid of it much early. It's going to be a try, is it?
Maybe for Jay Pitts. No, he's held up.
5. Wait. Marker's in. 5.
Now Sinfield will hoist the kick. Maguire's after it. Oh!
That's wonderful.
Is he onside? He is. What a try from Maguire, his second.
How's he held this?
He caught it the second time in mid-air.
Oh.
And that was no fluke. That was a set move. They knew exactly what was going to happen. And the Bradford Bulls thought that it was going to be inevitably going towards the corner. He shaped up to go put a big kick in, and then he pulled back and just chipped it right over the top. Superb play. Watch this. Look for a big one, and he pinched it out of the air. Fantastic stuff. Second try for Maguire. Controversial was the first one. Outstanding was the second.
And with this try, and what a spectacular try it is, Danny Maguire now goes above Leslie Vainicolo in the try-scoring charts in Super League history, and there is only one other man ahead of him in that list, and it's his teammate Keith Senior. The second highest try-scorer in Super League history, Danny Maguire, and it was put on a, I was going to say on a plate for him, but you couldn't say that, could you, the way he had to catch that. It was certainly the result of this man's kick, who levels the scores up again here at Odsal, 10 apiece. But moments like this worth the entrance money alone.
Certainly is, and you can see there that the fullback not in the best position. I just got the impression that the Bulls anticipated a big kick to the corner. It wasn't to be, but boy, oh, that was a belter.
You know, there were less than 2 minutes from Reardon dropping the ball in the corner to Maguire's hands taking that one in there. In fact, had the Bulls scored, they'd have just about taken the conversion and been waiting for possession back. But the game of rugby league can go from end to end that quickly, and points can be scored from one to the other if you have the skills that Leeds have just demonstrated.
More news from Bill.
Yeah, it's not good news for the Rhinos because they might have just got those points on the scoreboard, but it looks as though they've lost another player.
That was knocked forward by the Bradford Bulls, so they come down for the scrum, head and feed to Leeds. We'll have a look at it, Bill. You carry on.
Yeah, Luke Burgess is the latest casualty, so that's two of the big guys on the sidelines. Burgess, it looks like a right ankle or right foot that's the problem. And Kylie Luluai, of course, still sitting in the dugout. He's got a towel, cooling towel over his head to keep, just try and keep the rays off him as well. He's just been checked on by, among others, Rob Burrow, and assured them that he's okay, and they'll be hoping that he is, because if Burgess is cropped, then they'll need Luluai back out there.
They will, and this is what we were talking about in the build-up, Brian, the way that the two coaches will utilise their substitutes today on this very warm afternoon evening, and Leeds have hit a bit of a problem.
Well, and maybe change up the way they play a bit. We saw Brett Delaney just take the ball in. Maybe Keith Senior and Brett Delaney can share the workload, get Ryan Hall in to work a bit harder, take some of the pressure off the front rowers. I want to see Ryan Hall now notch up a few carries in this game.
It's Greg Eastwood, the New Zealand international, who playing the ball there. And this is Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Well, they're still trying to get that flat pass. Very dangerous. Kick in the corner.
Kick down the
Was
line.
he taken out? No, according to the officials.
Sharif did well then, under pressure from Ryan Hall.
He kicked through.
Knock on here by Bradford.
Well, Michael Platt, a hero a few moments ago. He just took his eye off the ball. It's as simple as that. Even the best sometimes join the rest.
Let's go. Pack it. Time's off.
He knows he's under pressure here. They're in a good position of the Rhinos.
Let's go, lads. Wait, Danny.
He knows they had a purple patch at Headingley and they led 16-0 after 25 minutes just before Easter.
Out.
It was like having his pocket picked, I think, when Leeds got the draw.
Well.
Ooh, nice offload by Senior.
Oh,
straight into him.
It is, and here goes Sykes. And Sykes has only got Kirk in his way.
Oh, great chase.
Oh, brilliant chase by the big fella.
Unbelievable. Ian Kirk has saved a try. They've got the numbers out wide. Oh, I think they've gone the wrong way.
Whitehead, there were men wide. They had a 2-on overlap there. Here's Heath Lestrange, Andy Lynch. Well, has Ian Kirk just delayed the inevitable because it looked like Sykes was all the way to the line then. That's 3 tackles gone. Look where Bradford are. Heath Lestrange. Back it comes. Menzies. Good job that Ryan Hall went for that, and if it had stuck, Ryan Hall would have been away.
He went for broke, did Hall. And it would have been a run-in for Sharif. Well, it's going from end-to-end stuff. It looks as though Leeds. Tremendous stuff by Ian Kirk. Talk about second effort. He knew he was gaining as well. Surprised me that Sykes did not pull away.
Inevitably, Ian Kirk is leaving the field after that race downfield, and he's limping as well. Another problem then for Leeds, and there could be more here because Nero was nearly through.
Great tackle by Sinfield, right round the ankles.
Here's Hall.
Now then, Sykes has got to be the key again. Will he shape the kick and bring someone back on the inside? Menz is looking to come as a second runner.
This is Andy Lynch having a real devil's job to put him down. They do eventually on tackle number 3. Camped underneath the Leeds Rhinos post though. It's with Sykes, slides the kick in again. That's beaten Donald and Nero. The bounce was horrible.
Well, that's what you utilise the Oxel turf for.
It came back on itself almost, it appeared. He's not given it yet, though, the referee, Richard Silverwood. It's another decision for Thierry Alibert. He's onside.
Well, this is the third try that Sykes has produced with the kick. Donald had a go at it, couldn't get it, and this will be try time for Chris Nero. Was there any obstruction? Was anybody being pushed away? I don't think so. No, I think Nero's just hung around and picked the pocket.
Or did he get a hand in the back of Scott Donald and push him out of the way?
The only worrying thing is we saw last Friday, didn't we? One that was disallowed in the St. Helens game, which I don't think should have been disallowed. So if they're going to have consistency, you would say
he's
that's a push in the back.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree. I think it's minimum touch, but if we're going to go on what we ruled on last Friday, you think this try might be disallowed. It'll be unfortunate.
Because the law doesn't state the pressure that you have to apply.
No.
It's just that if you are in a position where you are touching a player in front, that's how I read the law.
Well, I think if Leeds get away with this, I don't think this try will be allowed, and I think they've dodged a bullet.
Well, I tell you what, the Bradford faithful, if it is turned down, will be furious. Here's Thierry Alibert's decision.
Oh, no, they're going to be looking for Brian Kearney after this match.
It's a penalty, a push in the back.
Look, I think the best way of describing that, if Scott Donald was to stand up, he'd say no, I don't think it should have been disallowed for that. He misjudged the bounce of the ball, horrible bounce. Anyway, they've got consistency, I suppose, from what we saw last Friday.
You're right, though, Leeds Rhinos have just played the get-out-of-jail card, dodge the bullet, do whatever you want to say, but it's 10-all. Diskin's out there now for Badiris. Here is Eastwood.
We often hear coaches say that field position is important. Bradford have had twice as many players inside their opponent's half than the Leeds side, and yet the scoreboard still says 10-10. That's why Leeds are champions, because they have the ability to absorb pressure and counter-attack and score.
The timely introduction of Matt Diskin as well. This could speed it up for Leeds.
Well, they certainly need something, and he's the type of player that, as you say, he can run all that slightly forward. And again, the delayed pass, the flat pass from the Rhinos.
Up goes the kick off the boot of Maguire. Ryan Hall's after this. Ricky Sharif's underneath it. Ryan Hall's pinched it over the top to Senior. Senior scores! Keith Senior scores for Leeds. They could have been behind at the other end, and they have snatched the lead. They've soaked up the pressure. They've soaked it and soaked it and soaked it. And they are the Inter Milan of Super League, aren't they? They just take it all in like a sponge, then come up the other end and score a vital try. Keith Senior, well, there is the man who is the #1 try scorer in Super League history. And what an important try this is for Senior. He hasn't scored in 5. His last try, 2 of them came against Hull in April. This is a vital one, though.
And another one from the kick. Maguire. Beautiful high kick. And he did well, didn't he, Ryan Hall? And so did the old-timer. He won't mind me saying that. Nobody just put 4 points, 4 valuable points on the board for a Leeds outfit that really are not playing well. But look at the scoreboard.
They're in front for the first time, Steve-O.
It is an amazing game.
You have to say that they were very fortunate in one corner, and they then produced strength in Keith Senior in the other.
But they've had their rub of the green. There's no 2 ways about that. Go out and buy a lottery ticket, boys, after this game.
Euro millions, perhaps.
You owe millions, or did you say Euro millions?
You owe millions, but Euro millions. That's the big one. Sinfield's missed. But Leeds hit the front, 14-10. I think there's going to be points in this game, don't you?
You can say
Second
that again
half,
and again. It's
they're bound to run out of puff in the second half in this heat.
Yeah, because there's been some pretty rough exchanges as well. But Maguire's high kick. Sharif really picked it there. I should have said Ryan Hall picked it from Sharif to allow this man to score. He's been around a while. Mr. Super League, that's what we call him.
Ryan Hall gets the kick off deep in his own territory. Good chase by Bradford. And good to see young Danny Addy out there, a dual registration contract with Dewsbury. Number 32 on his back.
Hold.
Diskin with 14 on his back. Finds Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
And again, I can't understand why Leeds are trying all this fancy stuff. They're only on their own 20.
That's forward.
And why don't they just do the basics and get it to the halfway line, kick and chase?
I think you ought to credit Bradford for the pressure they're putting on them.
The pressure wasn't the reason why it was a forward pass, Eddie. He was just trying to be too smart.
Brian's going a bit pink, isn't he, in the sun over there? He's getting this, catching the rays tonight, is Brian McLennan.
He'll go a bit more pink if Bradford score from here.
Here's Nero.
First. Move, Jamie!
3 minutes to half-time. Leeds ahead 14-10. Bradford in possession, though, with Stuart Reardon. Trying to spin and get rid of the ball, but Leeds deal with the threat in the end. Lestrange, Glenn Hall. Here's Warrancy. This is Lestrange again. Gets a pass away to Hall.
Had to be good defence. He really came crashing through, did Hall then.
Lestrange, back it comes to Paul Sykes. Another kick, no. This time a pass that went very flat and then was knocked on.
Well, now the Bulls are getting the problems that the Rhinos have experienced. Head and feed will go to the Rhinos.
Nero just couldn't get that pass in, could he?
And again, it's just trying to utilise that delayed pass, which is flat.
Steve McNamara's on his way down for half-time. The Bradford Bulls coach, who will take over as England coach at the end of the year. He has an international team to select. Matt Orford's right behind him. He has an international team to select for June the 12th when England take on France. Sam Burgess and Gareth Ellis will be here for that. And I spoke to Steve McNamara about that decision yesterday, and when he's told me the reasons why, Steve, you can't argue. Actually, he wants the two Australians part and parcel of his first get-together as England coach.
Of course he wants. He wants to get the best players.
Good run here from Eastwood. Forward pass to Maguire.
Oh no, I don't think that was. No, I really do not think that was. Is that a payback time? I don't know. Well, the big New Zealander, Greg Eastwood, it's a wonderful break, but I can't see that this is a forward pass. I really can't.
Marginal.
Tell you what, Danny Maguire is in great form at the moment. He puts himself in the right positions. They brought that one back for a forward pass, but he's been sensational in this first half. Was outstanding last week in the game against Warrington. He really is hot at the moment.
And the hat-trick is beckoning for him, of course. Danny Maguire, he's first into the tackle there. Well, I was going to say the standoff, but of course he's playing scrum half tonight. And the fabulous thing is, you know, when we're talking, we're almost ignoring the likes of Burrow and Maguire when we're talking internationals. When we talk about Myler and Tompkins and Eastman, we're ignoring the fact that Maguire and Burrow are there.
No, they won't give up the ghost. They want to be still on the international scene, especially Maguire. I agree with Phil. He's been in outstanding form this year.
We've got some half-backs at last, though, haven't we?
And Leeds have got it. Oh, no, they haven't.
Bradford. Oh, that's a gift, isn't it?
Penalty, yeah. They'll take the two. Only seconds remaining. Surely they'll take the two. Oh, I don't know what was going on.
They will take the two now because there's the full-time starter. Oh, he wasn't standing square.
No, well, he never made any attempt. I mean, he got a bit excited, did Jay Pitts there. And it could cost them 2 points. And well, we've seen quite a lot of discussions from the skipper.
Half-time siren has sounded. Paul Sykes is bound to have a shot at goal here.
Well, it leaves the pain somewhat for Steve McNamara because he must be shaking his head in disbelief because virtually they've controlled this game. And a couple of breakaways, not many opportunities have befallen the Leeds Rhinos, but full credit to them that they've taken their chances.
Richard Silverwood giving Bradford the penalty right on the stroke of half-time. Mr. Silverwood, of course, the man in charge of the Anzac Test between Australia and New Zealand in Melbourne the other Friday, day after the general election. Can't remember the date, but it was the day after the general election. 7th of May, I think, wasn't it?
6th, wasn't it?
That was the election, the 6th. Sykes gets the two. Not over yet, this by a long chalk. 12-14, Leeds in front, but only just. And lots of incidents to look back on. Glorious day in Bradford, in West Yorkshire. Maguire is on a hat-trick for the Leeds Rhinos. But Bradford are trailing by 2 at half-time.